Folks, welcome to your week. This is a brand new week. It's So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey. This is your pal Ryan, and this is your Monday episode. We have a pop culture roundup. We have Sarah Heron from Us Weekly joining us again. I always love talking to her, and we always have a great conversation about pop culture. All the week's past stories. You got reality shows in there. You got some general pop culture. All of that good stuff. And if you want to skip right ahead to her, remember there's a timestamp in the show notes so you can do that. But we're going to talk a couple of other things, especially because this week is jam packed with TV and film. And I want to give you kind of a breakdown of a calendar of what you should potentially be watching and what's premiering and all of that good stuff. We used to have I'm jumping right in. We used to have Entertainment Weekly. Remember that? I used to love Entertainment Weekly, and they would have the fall TV preview and the fall movie preview, and they would do the same thing for the winter and the summer, and it would be a double issue. And I used to devour those things. And I would take my little notebook and I would circle the things that I had to watch. And then I would make notes of like, watch this on this date. And oh my gosh, the way I romanticize the feeling of a magazine. I'll say the same thing with I miss Us Weekly. I miss Premiere Movie Magazine. I miss when Rolling Stone was like not just the small copy of Rolling Stone. They used to have like a big rectangle, like a very odd sized magazine from what we were used to. Man, I miss magazines when like the heyday of magazines, which I believe to be the 90s. Anyway, how are you guys doing? How was the weekend? Was it good? We did an OC recap over the weekend. So if you want to hear me freak out about Alexis, fun Lexi, that's there for you. We also recapped Salt Lake last week. Sophie was on. I mean, we had tons of shows. And then over on the Patreon, I did like a 2-hour Q&A over there, which we got into tons of stuff, personal stuff, family stuff, a bunch of reality shows, a bunch of pop culture, a bunch of music. Great questions. And I want to let everybody know, too, if you are a Patreon member, thank you. Welcome, baddies. Hello. We're doing a live Patreon today, Monday, at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's really fun. It's a chance for us all to join together. It's a cult. It's a cult. Yeah, it's kind of like Nixium. No, it's actually really fun. And we just talk about whatever we talk about, reality, anything you guys throw my way in because you can comment the whole time and it's a lot of fun. I look forward to that every month. So come, if you're not a baddie, come join. It's a couple bucks a month. It's patreon.com/ so bad it's good. So come join us this afternoon, early evening, or 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Do that. So there's plenty of things to catch up on if you need it. By the way, I've been told I've been told this is a perfect podcast to sleep to. And by the way, the person I've heard that so many times, and they don't ever mean it in a bad way, and I don't take it as a bad way. It's just that my voice can be very soothing. That's the way I take it. But man, yeah, just make a playlist and just like sleep like sleep. One episode will get you through the night. I mean, these are really long. And the other one I got, my favorite one back in the day was I clean my cat litter box to you. I always loved that one. I was like, yeah, man, you're shoveling cat shit, listening to So Bad. It's what a perfect way. What a perfect way to pass the time. Amazing. However you listen to this, I am so happy that you're here. We've got another week of great shows, really interesting guests. We got a documentarian on. We got some funny stuff. We got some recaps. We've just got a mishmash of everything. I hope you guys are great. I wanted to start off, though, by talking about one of the most popular people in pop culture right now. I think this is a name that is on everybody's lips. I'm fascinated. It's been a minute. They've really kind of held our focus for the last month. And of course, I am speaking of Deng, who is the baby pygmy hippo from Thailand. And this Deng has taken over the internet. And now Deng has her own live stream. That's right, folks. There is now a live stream that is in Thailand's Khao Kiao Open Zoo. And there are 24-hour, this is like Big Brother with a pygmy hippo. There is a 24-hour cameras that are being set up so we can watch the adorable antics of this. It looks very slippery and slidey, very, very moisturized. This hippo looks, But Mudang's schedule so far, People Magazine reports that Mudang likes to play with the zookeepers at 8 a.m., followed by a nap, and then an afternoon viewing session for an hour starting at 2 p.m. with visitors, I guess. Mudang was born in July and made her first appearance on Instagram, IG, on September 6th. No filters on Mudang, by the way. Just this is straight no filters. Her fans consider her a lifestyle icon and the it girl. As videos of her getting cleaned with a hose and slipping around her enclosure have gone viral. There are other images where she is playfully biting a zookeeper's knee, and a video of her mimicking her mom chomping her food have also won the hearts of many. The zookeeper, Adipon Nundy, told the Associated Press he didn't expect the hippo to become so popular, saying it was beyond expectation. I wanted people to know her. I wanted a lot of people to visit her or watch her online or leave fun comments. I never would have thought of this. Now, the zoo itself has drawn more than 4,000 visitors each day during the week and more than 10,000 over the weekend, all coming, making this pilgrimage to check out Mudang. The weekend visitors, you guys, are just limited to 5 minutes at her pin due to the demand. You can only get 5 minutes in the presence of Mudang. The zoo has acquired a trademark for Mudang the hippo, which will prevent other people from profiting off of Mudang. Like, I was going to make a shirt like so bad it's Mudang, but they'll probably sue me. So this is great. And I think Mudang is so cute. You guys have seen videos or pictures of Mudang. It really is cute. And then I was talking to Rebecca about Mudang, and she was like, hey, hippos are deadly. And I was like, what are you talking about? Mudang looks so cute. She's like, no, hippos are deadly. And she sent me she sent me this thing about she ruined my Mudang fantasy, so I'm going to ruin it for you guys as well. And it turns out that hippopotamuses are one of the 10 deadliest species in the world, and there are sorry, there are 500 deaths per year by hippopotamuses. And it says, before we get to sorry, when you think when you think this is from an article from Discover Wildlife, when you think of deadly African wildlife, you might perhaps assume lions take the top spot. In an actual fact, hippos kill many more people every year, causing an estimated 500 deaths annually, as compared to only 22 for lions, you guys. Hippos are deadly land mammals. That is because they are very aggressive and territorial and have a habit of charging at boats and capsizing them. The people on board then either drown or are killed by the animals themselves. They weigh an average of 1,500 kilograms. I don't know the kilogram to pound ratio because I'm an idiot, but I'm guessing from the article that must be really heavy. 1,500 kilograms with large, sharp teeth. It's certainly an animal you wouldn't want to face up against. I hate to break it to everybody. This Mudang is potentially a killer in waiting. Like, this Mudang is waiting to strike. I didn't know. I mean, this is just a cute little hippopotamus. And then I get sent this. I get sent this article saying one of the most deadly species out there. So sorry to start your Monday off like this, folks. I truly am very sorry. What else do we have here before we get to Sarah? Okay, we got a lot of shows this week. I did want to bring up, gosh, there's so much to talk about, and there's so much we talk in the actual show. I do want to say Tamra Judge from Real Housewives of Orange County. He did I didn't get to mention this in the podcast this week for the OC recap, but I have to mention it now. Is that she went and said that she said people are paying for bots because the amount of hate that Tamra is getting can't be real, that somebody is out there paying for bots. And I'm like, can we live in the real world? I mean, there is I do not believe people are paying bots or Russian bots to come after Tamra. I think people are just coming after Tamra because of the behavior that they see on Real Housewives of Orange County. I don't think, but it's like whatever you have to tell yourself to sleep at night. But I just thought, oh, come on, Tamra. Like, don't put out there that you think it's bots. Are you kidding me? Oh, and Alexis, we talk about Alexis. Alexis had an Instagram post over the weekend that I think it's towards the end of the show, so stay for that. But who man, you feel bad for these people in some ways because they're real people and you have to remind yourself of that. But then it's like, dude, when any housewife or any celebrity start talking about speaking, I'm going to speak my truth, you get immediately worried. Like if you're at a place in your life, whether you're on TV or not, where you're having to scream on social media, it is time for me to speak my truth. Something has gone drastically wrong in your life. Something has gone drastically wrong. Katy Perry, you guys. Katy Perry's new album came out on Friday. It's called 143. We do not have sales statistics from SoundScan yet, but it has gotten so many bad reviews. I'm going to listen to it tomorrow. I don't know if you guys listened to it and what you thought of it. I mean, the first single really didn't do anything, but it's very interesting celebrity in any kind of forum is that, it takes so much talent, so much luck, so many different variables to actually break in to the entertainment industry. And once you're there, to be able to repeat that success, movie after movie or TV show after TV show or album after album, there's so much work that goes into it and luck and trying to ride the trends, but at the same time have your own voice so you stand out and you're unique. And you see a lot of celebrities, a lot of stars, they drive themselves crazy trying to predict what the next thing is going to be or trying to fall in line with how everybody else is doing it. And it's something that I don't think anybody's truly ever figured out. I mean, the best thing about celebrity too is when somebody completely tanks, but then they rise again and they have a full comeback. Those are amazing. Part of me sometimes wishes Taylor Swift would just almost put out on purpose a clunker of an album just so she can then rise again, because the rise again with the celebrity can sometimes be so amazing and so heartening to watch, which by the way, Taylor Swift did not show up to Travis Kelce's Chiefs game tonight. That was in Atlanta. I hope everything's okay. There were shots of Travis Kelce looking glum on the sidelines. So I don't know if that's Taylor related or just because I'm being told that he's not doing that great this season, even though the Chiefs won again. So I'm not a sports guy, but they're 3-0. So they've won 3, they've lost 0. That's your sports minute on So Bad It's Good. But yeah, Taylor didn't show up. So, and at some point, yeah, I mean, that's fine. I don't think that's a big deal. I mean, do you think they got into a fight? Oh, man, not a good time to have a fight during football season. And I wonder if they've had a blowout fight yet. Do you ever think about that? Have they ever had a fight about something stupid yet? Where he's like, baby, come on, you're overreacting. Or she's like, why are you always texting me? Can you let me breathe? Stars, they've got it. They're just like us. They have to be. Okay. Um, Listen, I have a bunch of other things, but I want to get into what to watch this week or what is coming out this week because there is so much, and this is going to take a minute. So we got to get into it. So on Bravo, we have the season finale of Below Deck Med. Captain Sandy is going to get engaged tonight. Ayo. Getting down with Captain Sandy. So she's getting engaged. Season finale of Below Deck. So that'll be interesting. It's been a pretty decent season. Below Deck is just that standard. I'm really excited for Below Deck Sailing Yacht, which is coming back. But yeah, this is the season finale of Below Deck. We have $1 Million Listing on this week. We have the second episode of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I talked about the ratings for Bravo on the OC episode on Saturday, and I'm really shocked because it was not very highly rated. And I'm just hoping everybody caught up at this point because I really love covering Salt Lake. Real Housewives of Orange County, we have, obviously. So we have tons of Bravo things, but there's so many other things that are out there right now. You have the second episode of Survivor will be Wednesday night. You'll have the second episode of The Golden Bachelorette, which I really enjoyed. That's going to be Wednesday night. You have HBO or Max. Let's just go back to HBO fully. Max, you have the second episode of The Penguin, which will be on Friday. I got to watch the first episode yesterday on Saturday with Colin Farrell. Now, the Penguin obviously is the Batman villain from the comic books and also in the movie with Robert Pattinson. The Penguin was a character. Now, this is a show that is a gritty crime drama, all about the seedy underworld in Gotham and the mafia and all of these. There is no Batman. Batman exists, but they mention him once or twice, but he'll never be in these episodes. They do have somebody that's a Riddler fan, the villain from the Batman, that they see in a subway. But I will say, this Colin Farrell, I said it on Saturday. I said it's some of the best makeup I have ever seen on TV ever. This Colin Farrell, he disappears in this makeup. It is shocking to me that this is Colin Farrell. And I'm used to it by now, but he just does such a great performance. I mean, I'm blown away. And then the girl, I think her name's Christine Milioti, who has been in so many shows. She's fantastic as a mob daughter, a mob boss's daughter. I mean, it was just a really great hour of television. If you're into crime, mafia, Godfather kind of stuff, it's not superhero, so don't expect Batman flying in, all that. No, it's like a gritty crime drama. So if that's your thing, I highly recommend The Penguin. And then over on Apple TV, which I always joke about this with Apple TV, you guys, Apple TV, I feel like they're just laundering money over there because they don't do a great job of letting you know what's on their platform. You'll see show titles and I'll be like, what is going, wait, are these real shows or are these jokes from 30 Rock? I had no clue half of these shows exist because it's almost like they hey, we're Apple TV. We dare you to find us. It's almost like they don't care if it's successful or not. They're like, yeah, we got Ted Lasso. Yeah, you know where we are. Come find us if you want to. But so this week they are premiering the new movie Wolves with Brad Pitt and George Clooney back together again. Of course, they've done the Ocean's 11 franchise, but now they are together. They are two criminals, two competing criminals working together. And I imagine this is probably a really charming film. But Apple TV, you got a new Brad Pitt, George Clooney movie that'll be out this week. Now, over on Paramount Plus, you have Apartment 7A. And this is a prequel to the 70s movie Rosemary's Baby, a really amazing horror film that still holds up. Mia Farrow just knocked it out of the park with her performance in Rosemary's Baby. And this one stars, I believe, what's her name? The amazing actress from Ozark. Well, it's Julie. Anyways, she is the lead in Apartment 7A, but it's a prequel to Rosemary's Baby. That's premiering over there on Paramount Plus. So if you're we're getting into spooky season, folks. In fact, we were talking about this on the Patreon this weekend. Let me know your favorite horror films. We were talking about horror films and what have been my favorites. And I would love to know what some good horror films for spooky season I should be checking out this next month. Now, over on Netflix. Oh, actually, I do want to say one more thing. On Paramount Plus, there is a documentary called Kiss the Future. Now, I had the director Nanad on last February, I think. And this documentary moved me. It inspired me. It is, and I'm talking about this because you're going to hear Nanad again on this podcast this week in regards to the Academy Awards and award season. Because when I saw this, I said, this is a shoe-in for a best documentary Academy Award nomination. And we were going to talk more about that. I got to talk to him today. And I think it was a very important conversation. But I do recommend Kiss the Future. If you're a fan of the band U2, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck produce it, but it is about so much more. And it is, we'll talk more about it this week, but I highly recommend it if you haven't checked it out already. So on Netflix, you have a new documentary coming out on Friday called Will and Harper. And this trailer looks just amazing. And what it is, it's Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell's one of the head writers of SNL. She is a trans woman and she came out as trans. I think in the last couple of years, I probably might be getting the details wrong because I've not gotten to see the documentary yet. and wrote Will Ferrell an email and said, I'm living my life as a woman. If you have any questions, please. And they go and do a road trip together. And every review I've read so far and every interview I've seen makes me want to see this film so much. And I think Will Ferrell is the perfect person because he's talking from this standpoint of like, I want to learn. I want to know what this is about and what the right words are. And I want to, be accepting and find out what that means and what, and I can't wait to see this. So that's called Will and Harper. That's coming out this Friday. Also on Netflix, you have a docu-series called Mr. McMahon, September 25th. And this is all about Vince McMahon, who did the WWE, started this whole wrestling empire. But if you followed Vince McMahon's career, it has been insane, especially this last act, where there has been, I mean, you talk about Diddy. Vince McMahon has done some wild things, and I'm very interested to see how this documentary, this docu-series handles that. So even though I don't watch, I'm not a regular viewer of wrestling, this is where I'm like, I'm in, baby. You give me a sports doc, I am fully there. That's also on Netflix. Also on Net, there's so much TV. Also on Netflix is a new 10 episode rom-com series called Nobody Wants This with Adam Brody and Kristen Bell, created by Aaron and Sarah Foster. And you're going to hear them on So Bad It's Good this week. I did the interview on Friday. And I'm not just saying it because they're coming on, you guys. This is really good. I burned through all 10 episodes over the last week and I immediately wanted more. Adam Brody plays a rabbi. Kristen Bell plays a podcaster. I mean, it's perfect. You guys are going to love this. I'm highly recommending Nobody Wants This. Also on Netflix, September 25th, you have another documentary called Jailbreak: Love on the Run. And this was Maritza pointed this out to me, and I watched the trailer, and it looks great. But it's about that story. It was a prisoner that a prisoner not fell in love, but started hooking up with the female prison guard, and she helped him escape. And I believe they made a Showtime series called Escape from Dannemora, which Ben Stiller directed all the episodes and starred Benicio del Toro, Patricia Arquette. By the way, that Showtime series, if you have not seen it, it's called Escape from Dannemora. Highly recommend it. I loved it. But this is the documentary of what actually happened. So that comes out, Jailbreak, Love on the Run. Also on Netflix, man, Netflix, like a juggernaut. Nobody else can exist in streaming. You have Ellen DeGeneres's first stand-up special in a very long time. It's called For Your Approval. Now, this is supposedly a stand-up about how she's gotten canceled. And I will say, I've always enjoyed Ellen DeGeneres' stand-up. Like before she even got her talk show, like she was a really, or potentially is a very funny stand-up comedian. But the whole thing is about her getting canceled. And it's hard to like go there with her when you've gotten paid millions upon millions of dollars for a Netflix special. Usually when you say canceled, it means I can't get a Netflix special. So I hope it's not a lot of boo-hoo. Like, I feel like she self-canceled at a certain point, and there had been so many rumors and things like this that she was allegedly a jerk on her set and made people cry. I mean, listen, it takes all kinds of people in this world, and I know, especially creatively, probably running that ship, you're gonna break a lot of eggs, but it's still, who knows? I will say I have one experience with Ellen DeGeneres, and it was when I first moved to Los Angeles and I was getting headshots, my first like really good headshots. And this is when they still were doing headshots in black and white. Heyo. And I was getting it from this lady, Alexandra Hedison, who my agent referred me to. And I remember going over there. And this is before the Ellen DeGeneres talk show, I believe, or right like almost at the beginning of the talk show. It was before Portia de Rossi. But anyways, I was going at Alexandra's because we were shooting in her apartment and fucking Ellen DeGeneres. I walk in and Ellen DeGeneres is walking out. And she gives me a once over, you guys, and the meanest look ever. And you know me, I'm like, yeah, like I was like, what? Like Ellen DeGeneres, like starstruck. And she just gives me like one of those look like, you, and gave me a scowl. And I was like, what the fuck? And I'm already worried about my headshots. And it turned out Ellen DeGeneres was dating this headshot photographer, Alexandra Hedison, which now, guess who Alexandra Hedison's married to right now? Guess who? Jodie flippin' Foster. Jodie Foster, my headshot photographer from a long time ago, is married to Jodie Foster. Amazing. But by the way, Alexandra Hedison, she was amazing. Ellen DeGeneres, I will remember that scowl until the end of my days. It really terrified me. Okay, now over on NBC, this is great. Dateline. You have Dateline season 33 premieres this Friday. You always hope for a Keith Morrison voiceover on those. But I mean, the whole anybody on Dateline is amazing. The thing about Dateline, you always want to get the 2-hour Datelines. Those 1-hour Datelines, I always get bummed. I'm like, oh, an hour? We don't have time to tell a good story, or it must not be a good story if we can't get into 2 hours. Those 2-hour ones, because you can get a little cozy with it around the minute 45 mark, something insane happens, and you're like, oh, I'm even more in than I was before. Dateline. And by the way, Dateline doesn't get enough credit, or maybe it does. No, it doesn't, for really kickstarting the true crime fixation. Like, I mean, to me, that was the entrance point in a lot of people's fixation and fascination with true crime. I mean, obviously, there's always been a fascination. I know you guys have loved it forever, but that was one of the big things where it's like, hey, we can make money off of this. And now look at it. Netflix. I mean, every streaming service has like 30 movie docuseries every week. I just watched Into the Fire, a 2-part Netflix docuseries this weekend, which was really creepy, especially the second episode. My goodness. I recommend it, but especially the second episode, but it's just the real bummer, that story. Really, really scary, scary stuff. But yeah, Dateline comes back, so set your DVRs for that. And then this was something I found interesting that I hadn't heard about, but I want to add to my list. On Friday, this comes out on FX. It's a new docu-series called Social Studies, and the log line for this is a social experiment filmed in Los Angeles over a school year. It features a diverse group of LA teens who open up their lives and phones to offer an intimate glimpse into how social media has reshaped childhood. I'm in. Like, hey, I'm in. Kids and phones, I'm in. Like that sounds great. A docu-series? I want to know what the kids are talking about these days. So I'm going to add that to my list. You also have English Teacher over on FX. I think we're on episode 4 now. Brian Jordan Alvarez's comedy. I think they knock it out of the park over there on English Teacher. First season. You can catch up on episodes on Hulu. We also have Only Murders in the Building. This is their 4th season, right? 4th season, and it's good. I don't know. It hasn't fully locked me in yet, but it's like a warm, cozy blanket with Martin Short and Steve Martin. So I love it regardless. Also, you have Grotesquerie premiering on FX this Wednesday. Now, Grotesquerie comes from Ryan Murphy Productions and Ryan Murphy, and this stars Niecy Nash and Travis Kelce, baby. So I don't know what to expect from this. It's kind of, I think, in the vein of American Horror Story, but we'll see. This Ryan Murphy, sometimes his name's on so many things. He has that Aaron Hernandez show on FX right now. He has Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story that's on Netflix right now. And you now have Grotesquerie. I mean, slow down, man. Like, let's just make sure are the shows all like are they up to snuff? Like, let's do quality over quantity. I don't even know how you begin to manage your empire when you're doing that many shows at a time. Now, today I watched the first episode of Monsters, that Lyle and Eric Menendez show on Netflix that Ryan Murphy did. Now, the first season was called Monster, and it was about Jeffrey Dahmer. And I watched the first episode of that, and even being a true crime lover, I dipped out after the first episode. And usually I'm not like that, but I didn't know what the point was. And then I was watching everybody make this horrible TikTok trend or where, part of the thing would he would lure his victims in and he would like make them watch like a movie. I think it was like The Exorcist or something like that before he killed them. And there was like this meme where it was like, the actor, in the scene, and they would click it on and it would be like an episode of Real Housewives. And everybody was putting that joke out there. And I mean, I have such stupid humor, you guys know, but I just didn't ever find that funny. I've read books about Dahmer, and I just thought, and I just didn't know what the purpose of this was, because I thought it almost glorified him in ways, or that first, because I was like, the actor, he's doing a fantastic job. I mean, just a fantastic job, but like, why? Why? I don't know. It just for some reason that show just I was out after the first episode. Now, Monsters, this to me, the first episode is already not, I don't want to say tongue in cheek. I don't want to, but there's a camp element to it, or at least how I read it. There is one moment in there where Chloe Sevigny, who plays the mom, I mean, it's got an amazing cast. Javier Bardem and Chloe Sevigny play the parents, where there's this one moment that I almost laughed out loud because I was like, wait, what? And with a Ryan Murphy production, sometimes you're like, that didn't fucking happen. Are you crazy? Are you just writing the most ridiculous things ever? And then I went and looked it up and it did happen. It was an actual thing in real. I was like, no, I don't want to ruin it for you guys because it's such a wild moment. If you've seen it, I think you know what I'm talking about, and I'll talk about it later in the week. But I ran to my phone, which was literally in my hand, so I didn't have to run. But I was like, and then also another moment was they're at their parents' funeral, and the one brother wanted to play um Milli Vanilli, wanted to play a Milli Vanilli song that meant something. And I was like, there's no fucking way they made him play Milli Vanilli at the funeral. They did. These brothers played Milli Vanilli for their parents. The kids murdered the parent. It was why there was all these little details that I didn't know or I had forgotten. I've only one episode in, but I'm going to keep watching this. I'm kind of my curiosity is piqued where they're going with this. But with Ryan Murphy, there's just a level of, I mean, he does so many. He's done Glee, American Horror Story. He's done some really incredible work, and then also some really average work, like you're just pumping these things out. I mean, The People versus OJ Simpson, I thought was just fan flippin' tastic. That was a high. So Monsters, the first episode at least, I'm curious what you guys think. So that's out there. Also, as we wind down here, what was the one? Did I get all these? Well, my favorite on Friday nights, we love to watch Love After Lockup. Now that's WeTV, and it's what it is. It's people that have found love in the old the clink, and then they come out and we watch their relationship usually not flourish. And it is one of the darkest reality shows I watch. And I'll watch it on Friday night. Like I watched it after I did the OC recap on Friday, and it's like my little treat because I don't really cover the show on here. So I'm like, yeah, now my Friday night starts. That's how wild I am. And then it's an hour and a half, and it always goes way too quick. And I'm like, oh man, I get sad when it's over. And then half the time I'm just arguing with myself in my head of like, are these actors? Are these actors? Are these actors? Like, is this real? Like the whole thing, you're like, is this real? No, it's gotta be real. That's real. And then sometimes I'm like, did they make these people that aren't actors kind of act out these scenes? If you've watched the show, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But it is, to me, one of my favorite viewing experiences of the week. So maybe you can't trust me in terms of my own taste, but that's out there. Also, we have this Saturday night premiering its 50th flippin' season. That's right, folks. Saturday Night Live is back. I have watched almost every episode of Saturday Night Live since I was a kid. My dad almost trained me to watch it. And there have been so many decades of Saturday Night Live that I've loved, so many years of Saturday Night Live that I don't like, but it's one of those habits that I can't break. And I will still, now I mainly kind of like fast forward through it. I'll do like the weekend update, the opening sketch, see what their opening sketch is after the artist does their monologue. But half the time I'm like this, and I hope the kids at least find it hysterical because yeah, sometimes nowadays I don't, but it's still one of those shows. It's like a habit. I'll watch it until the day I die. So they announced their first five hosts and musical guests for this season. Now they are starting off their season. I thought there was an interesting choice to start off with was Jean Smart, who just won Best Actress at the Emmys for Hacks. And I mean, I think I love Jean Smart. I can't wait to see how they use her. But I thought they were going to go. I thought they were going to go Glenn Powell. I'm not sure. I thought they were going to go like. But Jean Smart, I'm really excited to see her. Now, musical guest is Jelly Roll. And then the next week, they have returning guest, comedian Nate Bargatze with musical guest Coldplay. So they must have really liked Nate Bargatze because he hosted last season. So that's the second week. The third week, this is interesting. They have Ariana Grande because remember, we're now in the promotional lead up to the first part of Wicked, the movie. So you have Ariana Grande, but she's not the musical guest. She is the host. The musical guest is Stevie Nicks. And I'm like, I can see, I want to see Stevie Nicks on Saturday Night Live. Then the fourth week has my heart. We got my man, Michael Keaton, baby. Michael Keaton is hosting SNL with musical guest Billie Eilish. So I am so God, I'm a huge Michael Jackson. I'm a huge Michael Keaton fan. Do not use that audio against me. And then the fifth week, the internet will be completely normal about this. John Mulaney with musical guest Chapel Roan, which I like both of those people, but the internet has some very strong opinions about both of these people. And I don't know. Which, by the way, John Mulaney and his lady Olivia Munn, they are new parents. They welcomed a new child into the world by surrogacy. And that announcement was made this weekend. So congratulations to John Mulaney and Olivia Munn. That's really incredible. I'm sure we'll find out more information, but I saw the picture and it looked like they were both very happy. So those are your first 5 hosts and musical guests on SNL. So kind of a strong start, and it'll be interesting to see because I don't know if you guys checked out, but did you realize we are in there's an election coming up? Have you guys heard about this? Yeah, it's crazy. Everybody's being really chill about it. So I'm curious how SNL will cover the election. We know that Maya Rudolph will be coming back to play Kamala Harris, which I think Maya Rudolph, obviously a comedic genius, but sometimes I wonder if you're on the cast of SNL, you're like, fuck, I could have played that. Like, come on, I'm on the cast. Maya Rudolph's already a celebrity. But, I don't know. God, remember back in the day when we were all like kissing Alec Baldwin's ass about playing Trump? And now Alec Baldwin is probably begging to come back to SNL. Whew, dark stuff. Oh, which by the way, Ian Sterling, the voice of Love Island, who was on the podcast last Friday, he did a stand-up show in New York this weekend. And I was looking at his Instagram, and the first, was like his show. And then the fucking second slide is Alec Baldwin and Ilaria. They went to his show, and there's a picture with Ian and his wife and Alec Baldwin and Ilaria Baldwin. And I was like, what the fuck? Alec Baldwin was at Ian Sterling's stand-up show? Now I wish Ian was coming on again so I could just ask him about that. I was like, what is your relation? Is Alec a huge fan of Love Island? Oh my God. Which now that I'm thinking about it, we need to get this Moodang on Love Island next season. That would be amazing. You guys, this has been a fun start to the show. I hope it's a fun start to your Monday. And now, Sarah Heron, I just truly love her. She knows everything about everything. And she's just the friendliest and awesome. And she works for us weekly. And she's been doing this for a long time now. And I just think she's so good at her job. And I really, when I talk to her or when I look at her posts or listen to her or read her articles, I always take notes. She helps me become better at my job. So it was always so exciting to share a Sunday morning with her. You guys have a great start to your week. Come back on Tuesday. Make sure you subscribe to this show so you'll always know, because I'll sneak in episodes. I snuck in that Diddy episode last week. So make sure you subscribe so you'll know if I just drop a Beyonce Lemonade episode out of nowhere. Bye, guys.